Hello, my beautiful students, and let's review Module 1, which was integers. We talked about negative integers. We talked about positive integers. We said that integers were positive and negative whole numbers, including the number 0. We talked about how the negative integers are on the left-hand side of our number line, and the positive integers were on the right-hand side of our number line. We also talked about if we were talking about sea level, for example, 0 would be right at sea level, your negative integers would be below sea level, and your positive integers would be above sea level. We talked about money. If you were at the negative side, that means that you owe money. And the positive side would mean that you're making money. We also learned a little chant to remind us which numbers are going to the left and which numbers are going right on the number line. Do you remember this? Negative to the left, positive to the right, moving on the number line. Easy for a BAMS night. We talked about the word opposite as a vocabulary word. If, for example, I am at -3 on the number line, which is right here, and I wanted to know what the opposite of -3 was, it's going to be the same distance from 0, but on the opposite side. So +3 would be the opposite of -3 on the number line. We also discussed absolute value, and we talked about absolute value being the distance away from 0. So for example, if I was at +5 on the number line, and I wanted to know what my distance away from 0 was, I would see how many units away I am from 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my absolute value is 5. Similarly, if I was at, for example, -2 on the number line, and I wanted to know the absolute value of -2, I really want to know what is my distance away from 0. And so I would count the units to 0, 1, 2, and my answer would be 2. So we also talked about tricky questions like the distance between -9 and its opposite. So this one doesn't have a -9, but let me go ahead and add it right there. If I'm at -9 and I want to know the distance between -9 and his opposite, well, his opposite is going to be all the way over on +9 over here. And so you'd have to count all the total units from -9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units to 0. But then you can't forget they want you to meet over on its opposite. So there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the total there would be the distance between -9 and his opposite would be a total of 18 units. The second question is, which number is furthest from 0 on a number line, -9 or 4? Now this becomes a little tricky because sometimes we think about which one has the greater value, and we know that 4 is greater than -9, but that's not what they're asking. The question is asking which number is furthest from 0. So -9 is 9 units away from 0, and 4 is only 4 units away from 0. So the answer here would be that -9 is further from 0 on a number line. And last but not least, we talked about how a number line goes from least all the way to greatest. So if we were going to go ahead and order -3, let's go ahead and plot these. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my 0. He's the middle integer right there. He's the one in the middle. Negative 3 would be somewhere over here. Positive 7 would be somewhere over here. Positive 18 would be further out, so let's put him here. And negative 15 would be somewhere over here. So very, very important that we plot the points first, and then it's easy, because now it's just going, we know it's going from least all the way to greatest, so we can say least to greatest would be negative 15, negative 3, positive 7, and positive 18. Absolute value is the number's distance from 0 on a number line. So if they give us, just to review, the absolute value of negative 3, and if that's where I am on the number line, negative 3, and they want to know my distance from negative 3 to 0, I'm 3 units away. 1, 2, 3. So don't be confused about absolute value. It just means what is the distance between that number on the number line and 0. Whether it's a negative number, a positive number, you just want to know the distance or how many units away you are from 0. With that said, if we're at comparing 2 and the absolute value of negative 5, you're going to automatically think that 2 is greater because you think, well, 2 is greater than negative 5. But be careful, because this question is asking you the absolute value of negative 5. And if I'm over here on the number line, the absolute value means what's my distance from this number and 0. And so the absolute value of negative 5 is really 5. So 2 is less than the absolute value of negative 5 because 2 is less than 5. If you have any questions about Module 1, please feel free to ask. I look forward to getting back with you for Module 2. Bye.